Hey there, folks. I'm Myra Ansari here for Wave Now. We are going to be going to a press conference. It's going to be happening here in just a few minutes with the Indiana Department of Transportation and the Kentucky Department of Transportation. They're giving us an update on the very latest on the Sherman Minton Bridge. So many of you had to deal with the headache of it being closed. It is now back open. Here's just some information that they have given us here today. Engineers from both Department of Transportations from Kentucky and Indiana and the design build contractor, they've reopened I-64 Sherman Minton Bridge, both eastbound and westbound directions. Crews did complete the identified repairs and the final inspections of the lateral floor beams under the top deck of the bridge early this morning, paving the way for the bridge to be back open. You can see here just from our live shot there at the scene that you can see cars kind of going there over the bridge. It's undergoing long-term repair and rehab work. It was closed on Friday afternoon when lateral beams, they were observed to be out of alignment during removal of temporary bracing added for a concrete deck pour last Wednesday night. So crews performed round-the-clock operations to reopening the bridge as quickly as possible. So we wanted to bring you this press conference live to see where things are at, how safe it is. You know, I'm sure that's a concern for a lot of people, but there will be some, now that they're continuing with the rehab work, some closures here. So we wanted to bring you that very latest. Let's listen in.
And then we'll go from there and give you a chance to ask some questions.
All right, thank you. For more than a decade, the state of Indiana and the Commonwealth of Kentucky have invested billions of dollars to preserve, improve, and strengthen the connection between our two states. The Sherman Minton Renewal Project is part of that of those important investments. And we're pleased to share with you this morning that we reopened both bridge decks early this morning in time for rush hour. And with a thorough inspection process by INDOT, KYDOT, and FHWA, we were confident the bridge was safe for reopening to traffic. We began and will conclude this project with safety leading the way. Nothing is more important than safety to our citizens, and we will never sacrifice safety, period. That's why when a floor beam misalignment issue was detected on Friday, we immediately closed the bridge out of an abundance of caution. The problem was contained to 2 floor beams within the main spans of the bridge, and closing the bridge allowed our engineers and contractor team the time and space to inspect, analyze, and develop a plan to safely reopen the bridge. The good news is the design-build approach for this project allows us to address problems that arise in a nimble and innovative fashion. We were able to complete the work yesterday, allowing us to reopen early this morning. We want to thank the public for their patience as we work to ensure that the bridge is safe and ready for travelers. We do want to announce that we're in the home stretch for the project. The Sherman Minton Renewal Project will add 30 years of life to this important asset. The Sherman Minton Renewal Project is going to add 30 years of life to this important asset that connects our communities. We appreciate the public's continued patience and trust as we focus on finishing the project later this summer. Now I want to turn it over to Matt Bullock, the Chief District Engineer for Kentucky Transportation's Cabinet District Office here in Jefferson County. And Matt will share some insights about this project and about another important project. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Danny. Again, Matt Bullock, Chief District Engineer in KYDOT in the Louisville office. I want to echo Danny's comments and thank the workers who worked tirelessly over the last several days since the discovery on Friday. Here we are on Wednesday morning, a beautiful day when we got the bridge back open. A lot of people worked very hard on this, boots on the ground. Happy to be able to come and represent the contract workers as well as the INDOT and KYDOT and consultant crews. All decisions being made on this project had the safety as the utmost important thing, not only for the traveling public, as well as anybody that's on the bridge working. We know a lot is riding on our roads and bridges. We know this bridge carries thousands and thousands of vehicles every day. It's very important. So when we make decisions to close a bridge, we use the utmost caution. But when we work on, like we have for several days, and we reopen the bridge, we use the utmost confidence. And so I think I can speak for Danny and INDOT and KYTC that we feel very confident in what has occurred, how we have addressed it, and the fact that we have it open. And there are literally, seems like 100 workers out there working. So it's business as usual. The bridge is, well, as you can see, open in both directions for traffic. But I want to remind everybody that we still have the planned directional closure for this weekend. You may have seen the message boards out on the interstates leading to the area. It's westbound only from Friday night until early Monday morning, and it's for a concrete deck pour. So that work is ongoing. It's not something we were able to accelerate while the bridge was closed. A lot of prep work goes into planning for that bridge deck pour. So on another note, separate notes, the 2nd Street Bridge, as you all know, we had a crash on there with a tractor trailer on March 2nd, Friday. So we've had 2 consecutive Fridays where we've had some bridge issues. So hopefully this Friday we don't have any problems with anything. So we're prepared, ready to go. Materials are available. With the Sherman Minton Bridge deck pour for this coming weekend, we're going to start work on the 2nd Street Bridge repair a week from today, Wednesday, starting in the morning. Again, with the utmost safety for workers and traffic, we're only going to have room to have 2 lanes southbound into Louisville. So obviously detour plan for when that work is occurring will be our Sherman Minton Bridge here, and of course the downtown bridge, Lincoln Bridge, I-65. The work for 2nd Street Bridge is expected to take weeks, not months. It's sidewalk, concrete work, and some steel members on the side there. We shared some details about the traffic on our release that we just sent out this morning. We're going to continue to coordinate with the Sherman Minton Bridge project to make sure that all lanes are available and well coordinated and communicated to the public for safe travels. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Sure. So I guess I'd characterize it something that's, we've all had a car that's been out of alignment, right? You've gone to your mechanic, you've gone to, whatever your tire shop is, and you've had your wheel is kind of like wobbly and you can feel it, right? And so in this case, it's kind of the same thing. Like this, the floor beam itself was kind of out of alignment due to some construction rigging that was binding it up as the deck was coming back down after the concrete pour. The added weight of the concrete helped to we would generally think that this would come back down in its natural state, and some temporary construction rigging was binding it up is what we ended up identifying. But on Friday, we didn't know what the problem was, right? We just saw that it was out of alignment, and out of an abundance of caution, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything else that could have been acting upon it in that unnatural condition. And so similar to how you take your car to the mechanic, we took our inspectors out here. They inspected it, looked at it, and said, this is what we believe the issue to be. We analyzed that and got a better understanding of that analysis. And then we developed a plan to re-rig a lot of the temporary construction rigging. And whenever we did that, the misalignment, whenever we got it unbound, it came back because the bridge is acting in a very, I'll say elastic, it's an engineering term, right? But the bridge was able to go back into its right stage. So we know that there was, while it was an abundance of caution to make sure that there wasn't anything that was at risk here, whenever we saw last night that it all came back into the correct place, we said we've done the right thing, and we are moving on to make sure that the not only the traveling public obviously is safe and make sure that they can continue traveling, but obviously, as we said, we have hundreds of workers up there today, and we want to make sure that they are safe as they are able to complete their activities to add 3 decades more of life to this bridge. There was no damage to those beams at all. That's correct.
Is
So
there any other analysis done to make sure that similar pressure is put on any other beams?
yeah, absolutely. That was part of our continued analysis, was to make sure that we wouldn't have this issue as we go down through the rest of the construction project, and to make sure that there wasn't any issue where the construction rigging somehow got bound up again.
Do you believe that this was solely caused by that pressure from the rigging, or previous issues with some of these beams?
There no previous issues. We don't believe there's any previous issues, but we're doing a full depth, post analysis as well, and so there'll be more information. And just like in the 2011 issue that we had here, right? I think Federal Highway and our friends at the U.S. Department of Transportation, I think they just provided their final report a few weeks ago, and so that was a full 13 years or something after that event. So anyway, so that being said, it's not going to be that long, but we are going to take our time to analyze those things very in depth. Sure. So phase 4, the last piece here of phase 4 is really completing the bridge deck work. That's what most people have been able to see to date, right, as the bridge deck pours. And you've been able to actively see that as you've been driving through the project, the concrete pours, the tying of the bridge deck steel, things of that nature. And that's what phase 4 is finishing up, is finishing those deck pours. And then phase 5 is going to move into replacing all the cable hangers themselves. And so that last phase is going to be really confined to the upper deck area, but replacing all of those cable hangers that you see there now, so that we can once again add that 30 years, the 3 decades of additional life to the bridge. Yep, and that's what we've done, and that was what we were working on last night, was to make sure that not only did we fix what we had then, but we mitigated it into the future so that we don't have that issue anymore. So, safety is paramount, right? And we're always making our decisions based on the safety of not only the traveling public, but also, like I said, the workers that are out there. And so when things do, just like when we take the deck off, we're not going to be able to see everything in our previous inspections. And so what ends up happening is, when we find that with the design build process that we have here, that's one of the reasons we chose that procurement method, is that whenever things, when we uncover something that's been underneath concrete or been encased in concrete, right, we're able to make better decisions because we have a team of engineers, designers, and contractors that are able to pivot and make those decisions very quickly. And so that's where we've been beneficial, I'll say, as we go through and complete the project. And so that's was one of the procurement decisions that we made as we went through and developed the design build portion of the project. We'll have to go through and look through the contract and make sure that we're appropriately managing to the contract. You want to take it? Or let you take it?
There is no plan to relax tolls for that closure. As in the past, where we've had some planned closures, we've keeping the same stance on that.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming out today and giving us a chance to give you some additional information. I hope it was helpful. Appreciate your time.